This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. I hope you're having a great day. The question I want to ask you today is, how do you know if you need a coach? Many of us shy away from it for lots of reasons. We wonder what in the world what good would a coach do me? The second, and maybe it really is the first reason, is I can't afford it. Yes, there are some coaches who are ultra expensive, and there's some that are very reasonable. I will mention this as one of my points. But when you think about spending as opposed to investing, when you are investing in your own self-development, when you are developing in yourself, you are not necessarily just wasting nor even spending money. You're investing in yourself. And if you are one of those individuals, which is like most individuals, and you are dependent on your work, your paycheck, your salary, then you are your most important commodity. Therefore, you need to invest in yourself. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me give you some questions to ponder as to whether you may be the perfect candidate to find a coach. First thing I would ask you is, are you feeling stuck today? I mean, you're trying, but you're just not seeming. You feel that you're in a hole and you're clawing and striving to get out of it, but nothing you're doing really seems to be making any difference. One thing that a coach can do for us, and usually do for us rather quickly, is with their trained eyes come in and look at us. They're not emotionally involved or vested in the difficulties that we're going through. And a lot of times when we're stuck, we need a hand. We need somebody to help us up, to help us out. Once in a while, we need a little bit of a push. Well, and let's be honest, once in a while, we need a swift kick to the pants. So if you're feeling stuck, you might consider that one of your options could be to hire a coach. I think another one is, are you just filled with doubts? You thought you had the right plan. You thought you took the right job. You thought the business that you started was good. You thought this new project that you began working on was going to be the be-all, know-all, do-all. And now you're beginning to doubt. You're doubting, am I really able and capable of doing all of this? Did I bite off more than I could chew? You know, no one in my family ever has attempted nor done anything like this. All of these are doubt statements. You're beginning to doubt yourself. And your family and your friends have an emotional and they have vested interest in you. I think one of the great reasons to bring a coach alongside is a coach can help you sort through these things that I've just mentioned. Are any of them valid? Is there a shade of truth in any of them? Are there some developmental issues that I need to really be paying attention to? And are the doubts just the imposter syndrome? Are they just the way anyone feels when they are doing something new, going and taking new territory, getting off into areas they haven't been before? And is some of it just the struggle that comes with stretching and growing? And a great person to help sort that through would be for you to find a good coach. He or she have been through this with other people, and they would know quickly how to help you get clarity. That would bring me to my next one. Perhaps you know what it is you're supposed to be doing. You have goals and visions. You are a person with great drive, but you really just don't have a clear plan on how you're going to get there. How are you going to work through all of these things? And a coach can really be invaluable by coming alongside and helping us get clarity for our vision and to help us reach our goals. I think especially if you are really pretty well set on the fact that you need a career change, you need to do something different, you need to be at a different company, I think that would be an optimum time to seek out a coach? Because you don't want to repeat anything that's already gotten you where you are. You want to really have someone help you to assess what your plan's going to be, how you're going to move forward, how you're going to be the absolutely best prepared person that you can be. And so I think especially right now, if you are seriously contemplating changing your job situation or going into business for yourself or even changing careers, going back to school, whatever it may be, I think that is a perfect time in which to engage a coach. How about the next one being procrastination? It's something we all battle. Some people battle it more severely. It seems to be something that is the default of the human condition. Why do today what we can put off till tomorrow? But if you begin to live that way, you're going to really get into some serious issues. And therefore, if you're always struggling to bring things in on time, to finish projects, to get things done, then I think you are an absolutely wonderful candidate to consider bringing a coach alongside to help you. One thing about it when it comes to procrastination where a coach is invaluable, not only can they give you time-tested and truly tested hacks, steps, procedures, items to do, to think about in order to get control of and defeat procrastination, but they'll be able to be an accountability partner, as it were, as well, because you're going to have to keep in conversation with that coach, and they'll know whether you're telling them the way it really is or not. And so if you're really struggling today with procrastination, I think you're a likely candidate for someone who could really use a coach. Now, I'm going to get out of your work situation and get back to life. How's your health? If you need help in the area of getting control of your health, and you've tried and you've tried and you've looked at infomercials, you've tried several fad diets and chemicals and all of that, it may be a different kind of a coach, not necessarily a career coach, but a life coach, or a personal trainer, or a health professional. They also do coaching. I think if you haven't been able to get this accomplished on your own, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you are a candidate to seek out a health coach to come alongside, or a life coach to help you. Are you always running behind? You know, there are certain people who are never late because that's the time they intended to get there. Now, I was raised in a culture where being on time was almost next to godliness, punctuality. But if you're always running behind, you need to ferret out what the reason and rationale for that is, and you've done it for so long, it's really hard for you to peel away the layers and to see what really is behind all of this. I think if you are constantly tardy for everything, you might consider a life or a career coach. I mean, I could go on all day with this, but let me stop with one more, and that is if you lack self-confidence. I am amazed in life how many people are truly, really gifted, are strategic thinkers, really have a lot to offer, but they lack confidence, whether it is from their family and life situation that has beaten them down, but they really have a whole lot more to offer and a lot more on the ball than they think. If nothing else, get a coach who can work with some of these things. There's no reason for you to feel inferior. I believe God created you to be who exactly you are. Now, it doesn't mean that He doesn't want to file off all of our rough edges, because all of us, including yours truly, have rough edges. Let me not only say some things that are happening that would make you a candidate for seeking a coach. There are some signs in some of your lives that tell me you desperately need to engage a coach. Are stress? Are you overwhelmed? Are you exhausted? And you don't seem to be able to get anything done? It really, to me, means you need some outside intervention. You need someone to come alongside and help you. I often hear people talk about work-life balance, and I have used that phrase before, but as all of us know, it is hard to keep it 50-50, 70-30, whatever the balance needs to be. but there are some who really abuse it. And if you let your family be neglected, you will pay a tremendous price for that. And if you are out of control or your life is out of balance, that is to me a sure sign that you really need to engage a career or a life coach. Let's talk about what I mentioned briefly before. You feel like you're a fraud. If people really found out how little I know, how little talent I had, they wouldn't be impressed. Well, we all have that. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, I had no idea how to do a podcast, and here we are on episode number 354. And I had those same things. They'll know I'm not a podcaster. People will know I don't know what I'm doing. And you feel like a fraud. You're not a fraud. You're a gifted person. The world needs your voice. The world needs your gifts and graces and what you have to offer. And oftentimes we can't see that. We can only see where we need improvement and what needs to be worked on. To me, that is an absolute crystal clear sign you are desperately in need of a life coach. Are chaos and drama draining your energy? We all go through periods of chaos and crisis. I've been through them. You've been through them. And oftentimes we try to buck it up and say, I can make it, I can do this, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to ask for help, it is a sign of weakness. Stop it. You're going through some real trauma, some real crisis, some real difficulties. Just face it. And there's nothing wrong with asking someone and engaging someone to come and walk along beside you and help you. If you're ill, there is no stigma whatsoever of going to a doctor. If you have a toothache, there is no stigma to going to a dentist. If you are physically out of shape, there's no stigma to getting a personal trainer. If you're stuck, if you're in a crisis, if you're really struggling, there is no stigma to finding a therapist, a counselor, and I would even go on to say, if you're a person who's seeking to make some changes in your life, there's absolutely no stigma to getting a coach to come alongside and help. I think another clear sign that you are a likely candidate for coaches are the important relationships in your life suffering. I'm talking about with a spouse, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, your children, your neighbors, your best friends. There's nothing wrong with finding someone who has some experience in helping to coach people with relationships, allowing you to look at where you are, where you've been, and where you need to go. To me, if you're really struggling in significant relationships, you are an ideal candidate for a coach. I'm amazed how many people get up every day, put one foot in front of the other, and absolutely despise their job. They don't like what they're doing. If they could find an easy way out or something else to do, they would do that. Work is not a fulfillment to them. Work is a chore. It's nothing more than a means to an end. It's a paycheck to help me pay the bills and feed my family and keep living. But I don't feel like I'm really adding to anything or adding any value. If this is how you feel today, trust me, you are an ideal candidate for coaching. You really need to get out of the rut and situation you're in. I think if you're really just fearful about life, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to make it? Am I going to get to where I need to be? And your life is nearly paralyzed by fear. That is a bright, flashing light telling me that you are a candidate for coaching. Do you lack confidence in yourself, your abilities, and who you are? Then you also are a candidate for coaching. I think even if everything is going well, but you know in your heart that things could be better, you know you were created and made to do a little bit more, or that if you really just learned some application lessons and learned how to apply your skill set, your time, your experience, you could be farther down the road. You're a candidate for coaching. It's not just because things in our lives are bad that we need coaching. When I got a coach to help me with podcasting and a couple of other things, I mean, my life was doing fairly decently. It wasn't that I was ready to throw in the towel. It's just I needed somebody. I knew things were going well, but they could be going better. I think if you're going through a period of transition, that could even be from work to retirement, That could be from one career to another. That could be you're becoming an empty nester, you're getting married. Unfortunately, some are going through separations and divorces. I think whenever you are in a transition time in life, you are an optimal candidate for a life coach, career coach. Again, remember, the number one investment that you can make is not buying equipment, not getting new computer programs, as necessary and important as they are. The most important contribution you can make is to invest in yourself, whether it's your health, your spiritual life, your mental attitude, your career, garnering new skill sets and learning new things. All of those are absolutely vitally important. How do you know what kind of a coach to get? You can get online and find all kinds. And as you all know, periodically I take on some folks to coach, and I would be happy to help you. And even if I'm not the kind of a coach that you need, I think I can point you in the right direction. All you need to do is just respond to me, and I will do my best to get back with you. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. It will help excellent people like you to be able to discover this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are, and you'll even be doing better if you get a coach. Again, until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.